Hey guys, GrownAssNerd here, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Creation Of. Today we're dialing it back to the 90s to rediscover an orange furry that for me became the mascot for the Sony PlayStation. Now, don't worry, he's not that kind of furry. This character goes by the name of Crash Bandicoot, but his name wasn't always Crash, or even Bandicoot. Before the birth of Crash Bandicoot, there was Jam Software, founded by Andy Gavin and Jason Rubin back in 1984. The company went on to develop games for the Apple II and the Amiga. Then in 1989, they underwent a name change, that name being Naughty Dog. Now that's a name that sounds familiar. In 1994, Jason and Andy opted to create a game for the Sony PlayStation. Jason and Rubin immediately started on character design. They even went on to hire more artists to help with concept art and character design. Naughty Dog was now in the process of creating a character that could hopefully rival Sega's Sonic and Nintendo's Mario. Now the first step was figuring out what type of creature this character would be. Obviously hedgehogs and plumbers were already taken, but hey, what about a wombat? Meet Willy the Wombat, a fun-loving, silly character designed by Charles Zambellas. Willy underwent several changes in his design because the Sony PlayStation wasn't quite capable of portraying this character as intended. They had to chop off his tail, roll up his pants legs, and give him a large head so you could see his wild expressions in such a low resolution. But what about the color? A lot goes into designing a character, and color is a huge deal. Did you know Disney designed Mickey Mouse's red and yellow clothes after figuring out that most children were particularly attracted to these colors? They created a list of colors that they would need to use for background purposes, such as greens and browns. Then a list of potential character colors that would be found attractive. Unfortunately, once again, they were limited to the current technology of older TVs that would often bleed certain colors. The only color that seemed to apply was orange. But they needed one more thing, a different name. Willy the Wombat was never meant to be the official name. Instead, they were waiting to officially name him after they were done designing him. The team came up with names such as Bash, Dash, Smash, and then eventually Crash. Ultimately, they settled on Crash, and gave him the surname Bandicoot. It sounded better, and he did resemble a Bandicoot. However, the Universal Interactive Studios marketing director insisted on the name such as Wuzzy or Wuzzle the Wombat. The Naughty Dog team strongly disagreed and even threatened to leave the production, so Crash Bandicoot it was. After all, the name Crash comes from him running around, spinning and bashing and crashing into crates in the game, so it fits really well. Finally, it seems Crash Bandicoot was ready to be presented to Sony's Japanese division for approval. After viewing the renders of Crash, the Japanese executives of Sony Computer Entertainment Japan were not impressed. To them, Crash looked too aggressive. During a short break in the meeting, the artist responsible for the renders was given only 15 minutes to make changes to the character. His spiky hair was reduced, big mouth shut, and blue eyes replaced with black ones. After all the changes, the executives at Sony decided to buy in, and thus, Crash Bandicoot was given a soul and a purpose. After its 1996 release, Crash Bandicoot went on to be a very successful game and character in the gaming community. Crash is definitely in my top 10 favorite characters and probably even the series. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe and comment down below on which character should be the next on The Creation Of. Thanks for watching.